Hey everybody, it's Phil here for WMExperts, and we're doing the third annual Smartphone Experts Round Robin, and I'm sitting next to Renee Ritchie from the iPhone blog. He has graced me with his presence, and we're going to talk for a minute about the iPhone.
Hi, I'm an iPhone.
You're an iPhone?
And that would make you a Windows phone.
I'm a Windows phone. I kind of look like John Hodgman. That's unfortunate.
I don't look at all like the other. That's also unfortunate.
All right, so tell me how this thing works, because I've never seen it. Okay, all right. We've all seen the iPhone. We know how it works. We know what the...
I've heard Malatesta complain about the way it looks. It created a rash of black slabs.
Well, you got a white slab here.
Yes.
So
I dare to be different.
What do you want to tell me about the iPhone? We've all seen it a million times. Wow, that's a lot of apps.
Yeah, I can put 32 gigabytes of apps on this baby.
That's a lot.
Yeah, most of them, they aren't always great apps, but 32 gigabytes. No, there's a lot of good apps.
Well, hang on. While we're here...
There's 300,000 now.
You don't have any fart apps?
No. I'm fart app free.
You can't be an iPhone owner and not have fart apps.
I absolutely can. There's no compelling need for a fart app. And if you bought a fart app for your iPhone, you are part of the problem, not a solution.
Oh, you're alienating a good 2,000,
my entire user base.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I always think that the App Store is one of the... Apple certainly didn't invent mobile applications. Windows Mobile had them for years. But Apple really created frameworks and a development environment. They did for mobile what Visual Studio did for desktops. And I think that, fart apps is... Sure, you can build them. But did you need to? No. You kind of made us dumber.
Well, and you and I have talked before that Cocoa Touch and that framework really is one of the strengths that makes the iPhone as powerful as it is. At the same time, it allows continuity while not making things boring. It keeps them uniform, but not stale.
Yes, it gives you tools to make great apps, but the apps themselves still have to be great.
Any apps that you have that you run on a daily basis that you want to show off to Windows Mobile people?
I'm embarrassed. Oh, actually, yeah. Now that you made that second point, I was embarrassed to say that I use Safari the most of any application, and usually it's kind of boring to show off. But I'm one of those people who believes that the internet cannot live until Internet Explorer dies. Internet Explorer 6 dies at least. And Apple's done a really, really good job of bringing advanced web technologies to the mobile space. It's kind of a joke that Apple kept saying the internet in your pocket. But in a very real way, they've made the internet something that you can take with you everywhere, and I happily do.
You have WMExperts. Oh, you do have it bookmarked. That's
I do.
Sweet.
Embarrassingly, though, it's the RSS feed.
That's not sweet.
It is sweet because it gives me more per page, more WMExperts to love.
All right, fair enough. There it is. Obviously, the hardware is also just strong. I mean, there's no other word to... Well, there are plenty of words to describe it. It's strong. It's
again, I've heard the podcast.
Beautiful, yeah. It's slabby, but it all fits, and that's just kind of one of the problems we've had with Windows Mobile is the number of devices it's on, and the number of platforms, and it's better on some than on others. Some it gets watered down. Some of the pieces just don't quite seem to come together. We've talked a lot about open platforms, be it hardware, and hardware's not as open as software can be certainly, but you have one manufacturer for the iPhone. You have one group designing it. You have one group doing the software for it, the UI software. Is that certainly something you see as an advantage?
Stephen Jobs is really frequently quotes Alan Kay, who said that people who want to make great software make great hardware. He believes that they're intrinsically linked together. And it's hard to look at the iPhone and say that that's not, it may not be the only point of view, but it's certainly a valid one. I think companies like Palm and RIM show that too. It's that when you do make that concerted effort, maybe you lose the variety, but you do make a really, really special integrated device at the end of the day.
So do you think Windows and Microsoft should go that route? Do you think they should say, that's it, here's how you need to do it, here's how you're going to do it? And we know they're going to do a little bit of that with Windows Mobile 7. They've got chassis specs, baseline specs for new hardware. Do you think they ought to go one further and say, no, here's how you're going to do it?
I think that if you really are all about choice and all about options, that should be one of your options and one of your choices. And people are worried that they would, do to the Windows Phone what they've done to plays for sure with the Zune, but I think as long as Microsoft makes that sort of a reference device, I think ultimately it's good for the consumer, and that's more important than what's good for the partners.
Google Earth's taken a long time to load, but
it's on AT&T 3G.
Oh, it is on 3G here.
Yeah,
that's correct.
There's no Wi-Fi.
Am I charging you like $3,000 for loading this up?
Probably.
All right, well, let's get out.
No, it's fine. But it's also the Google, that application works much better on Wi-Fi. So one of the nice things increasingly with iPhone 3.0 is that like with video, it knows what kind of connection on, and if you change connections, it will seamlessly give you the better version. It doesn't stop the video or reload it. And they're when it suits Apple, they do a lot of open source technologies and work on making a lot of like WebKit in the browser and HTTP live streaming in terms of video. They make a lot of these things stronger.
This is actually, believe it or not, the first time I've used a 3GS.
Really?
This is not just a 3G, correct? It's a 3GS.
It's a 3GS. It's got the 3-megapixel camera. It's got the smudge-resistant screen. It's 2 times faster, the processor. Well, it does smudge, but you can wipe it off.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, everything's going to smudge. I understand that.
Do you notice a difference in the speed?
I'm trying to. I think I do.
There will never be a lag when you type.
Yeah.
One of the things you'll notice.
Yeah, other than me being the problem when I type. It's nice and snappy.
It's Cortex-A8 processor, same as the Palm Pre. I think a lot of the Google phones are using that now too.
They are.
It's not a 1 gigahertz Snapdragon, but it gets the job done.
Well, what is?
Maybe the Cortex-A9 multi-core we're going to get next year. So.
Oh, man.
Melt your pocket.
You know, we can look at it side by side with the HD2 and the Touch Pro 2, and we'll have plenty of pictures up throughout the round robin. But, you know, it's certainly dwarfed by the HD2. But
I think your screen is bigger than my device.
It is, almost. We're going to have plenty of comparison shots with the two of them and plenty of write-ups so you guys can get a feel for it.
Oh, you had to turn it on.
I had to turn it on. We'll talk more about Windows Mobile in a little while, but just had to do that. It certainly is impressive. It certainly is faster. Where do you think Apple's going to go next? We're expecting a pretty big hardware revision.
I'm hoping
sometime.
this is certainly where Apple is going to. I joked about this with Casey and the Droid, but I want that screen. I predicted that screen would come in 2009. I've got a few days left. I'm not going to get it, but 2010, I would like to have the problem of having to figure out how apps would work on 2 different screen resolutions. That would be a good problem to have.
Do you think that's a problem they're going to solve, or are they just going to break it?
No, Scott Forstall's going to step up on stage, and that's the guy who heads iPhone software development. He's going to say, today Apple is inventing auto magic scaling. It just works, and it will blow you away.
100,000 apps.
Yes.
You have, what, 6-7 pages of apps on here?
Yeah, I have a lot more. I have to review them, though, so it's not a fair assessment.
On a daily basis, if you were a normal person, how many apps would you use?
The thing is, there would be 2 or 3, but it would be a different 2 or 3 for me than it would for you or for Kevin or for Dieter. And that's when it's strong having 100,000 apps, because the likelihood of you finding those 2 or 3 and not finding them on another platform becomes higher.
Would you recommend...
See, I turned off push notifications to save my roaming charges.
Oh, how about that?
But yeah, so this is one of the things. The iPhone will take a lot of popular games, and some companies will make iPhone versions of them. Mm-hmm. This is very similar to Nintendogs or the Pets games.
Excellent.
And we're ripping off Halo next.
Oh, well, that was only a matter of time.
Yeah.
And it's Halo, so I can't complain. All right, well, I think that wraps it up. Thank you, Renee.
Thank you, Phil.
All right, see ya.